The Autozam AZ-1, Japan's tiny supercar that defied logic. Imagine pulling up next to a Ferrari at a traffic light. The Ferrari has the power, the speed, and the prestige, but somehow all the attention shifts to the tiny car beside it. Its gull-wing doors swing dramatically into the air, the engine sits behind the driver, and the car looks like someone shrunk a supercar in the wash. That little machine is the Autozam AZ-1, one of the most unique sports cars ever built, and arguably the world's smallest production supercar. When people think of legendary Japanese sports cars, names like the Nissan GT-R, Toyota Supra, Mazda RX-7, and Honda NSX usually come to mind, yet hidden among these icons is a tiny masterpiece that deserves just as much recognition. Built during the golden age of Japanese engineering, the Autozam AZ-1 proved that excitement isn't measured by horsepower alone. It showed that lightweight design, clever engineering, and pure driving enjoyment could create something unforgettable. To understand why the AZ-1 exists, you first have to understand Japan's K-car regulations. After World War II, Japan introduced a special category of compact vehicles called K-cars. These vehicles were designed to be affordable, economical, and easy to drive through Japan's narrow streets. Owners enjoyed lower taxes and insurance costs, but manufacturers had to follow strict limits on size and engine capacity. By the early 1990s, K-cars were limited to engines no larger than 660 cubic centimeters and a maximum output of 64 horsepower. Most companies built practical hatchbacks or small vans, but Mazda decided to think differently. Instead of building another economy car, Mazda wanted to create a miniature exotic sports car. Development actually began during the 1980s when Suzuki experimented with a lightweight mid-engine concept. Mazda later joined the project and refined it before releasing the finished product under its youthful Autozam brand in October 1992. The result was unlike anything else on the road. At first glance, the AZ-1 looks almost unreal. Measuring just over 3.2 meters long, it is shorter than many modern city cars. It is incredibly low to the ground, with sharp angular bodywork inspired by exotic Italian supercars. Wide wheel arches, aggressive vents, and pop-up styling cues gave it an appearance far more expensive than its modest price suggested. Then there are the doors. The gull-wing doors instantly became the AZ-1's signature feature. Instead of opening outward like a normal car, they lift upward, transforming every entrance and exit into an event. Even today, seeing those doors open in a parking lot draws a crowd. It is a feature normally associated with million-dollar exotics, yet Mazda somehow managed to fit it onto a tiny K-car. Step inside and you'll immediately notice how compact everything is. The cockpit is snug, but it was designed with the driver in mind. The seats sit low, the steering wheel is perfectly positioned, and every control is within easy reach. It feels less like sitting in a small commuter car and more like climbing into a miniature race car. Behind the seat sits the engine that made everything possible. Power comes from a turbocharged 657 cubic centimeters inline, 3 Suzuki F6A engine producing 64 horsepower and around 85 Newton meters of torque. Those numbers may seem tiny compared to modern sports cars, but remember that the entire vehicle weighs only around 720 kilograms. Combined with a close ratio 5-speed manual transmission, the little turbo engine loves to rev and delivers plenty of excitement. The performance figures won't scare a supercar. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour takes around 11 seconds, while top speed is roughly 140 kilometers per hour. On paper, those numbers sound ordinary. Behind the wheel, however, the story is completely different. The AZ-1 uses a true mid-engine, rear-wheel drive layout. That means the engine sits directly behind the driver instead of over the front wheels. This arrangement gives the car exceptional balance through corners and is the same layout used by some of the greatest performance cars ever made. Mazda also equipped the AZ-1 with independent suspension on all 4 wheels and a rigid chassis that provided excellent handling. The steering feels quick and responsive, while the lightweight construction allows the car to change direction almost instantly. Owners often describe driving the AZ-1 as feeling like a street-legal go-kart. You don't need massive horsepower because every corner becomes entertaining. The car encourages you to maintain momentum, brake late, and carry speed through bends, rather than relying on brute force. This philosophy perfectly reflects the famous saying that it's more fun to drive a slow car fast than a fast car slow. One reason enthusiasts love the AZ-1 is that you can enjoy its limits without reaching dangerous speeds. Unlike modern supercars that can exceed speed limits, within seconds, the AZ-1 lets drivers experience nearly everything the car has to offer on normal roads. During the early 1990s, Japan was experiencing one of its greatest automotive eras. Manufacturers competed fiercely, producing some of the most advanced performance cars ever built. Alongside icons like the Skyline GTR, Supra, NSX, RX-7, Beat, and Cappuccino, the tiny AZ-1 carved out its own identity. Its closest rivals were the Honda Beat and Suzuki Cappuccino. The Honda Beat featured a naturally aspirated engine mounted behind the seats and became famous for its high-revving character. The Suzuki Cappuccino took a different approach, with its front engine, rear-wheel drive layout, and removable roof panels. Both cars offered incredible driving experiences, but neither had gull-wing doors or styling quite as outrageous as the AZ-1. While the Honda Beat focused on open-top funs and the Cappuccino delivered balanced roadster handling, the AZ-1 aimed to replicate the feel of a miniature supercar. Unfortunately, the market wasn't ready. Japan's economic bubble had burst, and buyers became much more cautious with their spending. Although the AZ-1 was an engineering masterpiece, many people found it too impractical. It had limited luggage space, only 2 seats, and cost more than many larger cars. Sales never reached Mazda's expectations. Production lasted from 1992 until 1994, with just over 4,300 Autozam AZ-1s built. Suzuki also sold approximately 531 nearly identical versions called the Suzuki Kara, making the platform extremely rare. That rarity has become one of the car's greatest strengths. Today, collectors across Japan, Europe, Australia, and North America actively search for the well-preserved examples. As import laws have allowed more AZ-1s into overseas markets, demand has continued to grow. Prices that once seemed unbelievably cheap have climbed dramatically. A clean, original AZ-1 is now considered a serious collector's item with exceptional examples commanding impressive prices. Part of the appeal comes from the aftermarket community. Owners often install upgraded suspension, lightweight wheels, larger intercoolers, free-flowing exhaust systems, and improved turbochargers. Despite the small engine, modest tuning can noticeably improve performance thanks to the car's incredibly light weight. Some enthusiasts even swap in larger motorcycle engines or more powerful Suzuki turbo engines, creating miniature rockets capable of surprising much larger sports cars. Yet many collectors believe the best AZ-1 is a completely original one. Special editions make the car even more desirable. Mazda Speed offered factory performance upgrades, while Mazda's M2 division released limited versions featuring redesigned bumpers, unique lighting, and exclusive styling touches that are now extremely difficult to find. Despite being over 30 years old, the AZ-1 still looks futuristic. Its sharp lines, wedge-shaped body, and dramatic doors continue to attract attention wherever it goes. Perhaps that's the greatest compliment any designer could receive. The Autozam AZ-1 wasn't built to dominate drag strips or break lap records. It wasn't designed to compete with Ferraris or Porsches. Instead, it was created to make every drive memorable, every corner enjoyable, and every parking lot entrance unforgettable. It reminds us that driving isn't just about numbers. Horsepower figures, top speeds, and acceleration times tell only part of the story. Real driving pleasure comes from balance, feedback, and the connection between driver and machine. Few cars demonstrate the philosophy better than the AZ-1. Today, it stands as one of Japan's greatest automotive curiosities, a tiny sports car with the heart of an exotic, the engineering of a true driver's car, and the personality of something far larger than its dimensions suggest. If you ever get the chance to see one in person, take a moment to appreciate what Mazda achieved. They took the strict limitations of Japan's K regulations and transformed them into one of the most charming, entertaining, and collectible sports cars ever produced. The Autozam AZ-1 may only have 64 horsepower, but it has enough character to embarrass cars with 10 times the power. It's proof that sometimes the smallest cars leave the biggest impressions. If you enjoyed this look at one of Japan's most fascinating hidden gems, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more JDM legends, and let us know in the comments which iconic Japanese car you'd like to see featured next.